Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. This is your home for organic 5-minute Bible study. We're studying Psalm 113 this week. It's the psalm about the great person of God, and right in the middle we've got that interrogative, who is like unto the Lord our God? And above it was described the greatness of God and His person. And below it is describing His mercy and how He humbles Himself to come down to look into heaven and earth. And then today we're going to be describing the person that He helps. Before we get any further into that, I wanted to remind you today, Spreaker has a new app for the Android devices called Spreaker Podcast Radio. And with Spreaker Podcast Radio, you can have your favorite podcasts loaded into your list, and every day when a new episode is published, it'll load right into your list, and you'll be able to get it on your phone or your Android device without ever having to go to the Spreaker website. So it's a wonderful little new app that they've got. It's called Spreaker Podcast Radio. Get that. And when you get it, add Daily Dose Radio to your favorites list, and I'll be refreshed every day as the new podcast episodes come out. Okay, we are looking at the great mercy of God now, and He humbles Himself to look down into the things in heaven and earth. And now notice in 7 and 8, let me read those for you. He raiseth up the poor out of the dust, and lifteth the needy out of the dunghill, that He may set him with princes, even with the princes of His people. Who's the poor? Now remember, the poor man is an important figure in the Psalms. Still is. And this poor man is in the dust. I mean, he's the lowest of the low. And the Hebrew word is the word for dust. But imagine a poor man in an ash pile. Okay, that's the idea. He's rummaging through an ash pile, trying to find some little bits of charcoal, maybe that didn't get burnt, that he can collect and take home and have a fire. Or perhaps he's looking through that ash pile to find maybe burnt pieces of food that are still edible and haven't, gotten rotten. So he's looking through this ash pile, and he's got ash and dirt and dust all over him. This is the lowest man on the planet. Then we have the needy mentioned. He lifteth the needy out of the dunghill. The dunghill is the garbage pile. So he's in the garbage pile, and he's looking through the garbage for something that he can use, something that he can eat, something that would be a tool for him. This is all the refuse that other people have thrown away. This man is the lowest of the low. So we have a nice little poetic parallelism here. The poor out of the dust, the needy out of the dunghill. And who's lifting them up? The Lord is. Why is He? Because He's humbled Himself to behold the things in heaven and earth, and He sees the poor man. And the poor man's important to the Lord. He wants to show mercy to the poor man, to the needy man. And remember, it's the poor and the needy that are crying out to Him. The poor and the needy man, that's the one that's praying to Him. And they're asking Him for help. And the Lord's going to show mercy to them. See, in the first half of this psalm, His great person was described, but His great person does not keep Him from showing mercy to the lowest of persons. He's above the heavens. He's above all the nations. And yet, here we have the person who's the lowest in society, the poorest, the neediest, and yet God humbles Himself to come down and to bless and minister to that person. And notice, verse 8, He set him with princes, even with the princes of His people. So God raises him up, not just to a middle-class position. Oh, no, He puts him with princes. So He honors him all the way up to the very top of society. So the God who is above it all reaches down to the person that's below it all, the lowest, and shows mercy to him and puts him with the princes. That's how great this God is. Who is like unto the Lord our God? Join me again tomorrow on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.